Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for joining me for Daily Spark TV. You guys know who I am, and you know what I like to do on my show. Say it with me. I want to enlighten, inspire, and empower you to live your best life. Now, scripture reminds us that the tongue is a small thing that makes grand speeches, but a tiny spark can set a great forest on fire. And that's what we want to do today. We want to get you fired up about my guest. I'll be spending time today with Dr. David Sequeira, and we'll be talking about his book, The Machismo and the Marianismo Tango. I know, great title. So go on, get comfy, get cozy, get your coffee or get your tea because we are about to get started. Hello, Dr. David. Thank you so much for
Hello.
joining us here on Daily Spark TV.
Hello. I'm glad to be here.
Yes, and we are so glad to have you. Now, before we start talking about your book, we have a bit of tradition around here, and that is I give every guest an opportunity to introduce themselves because I realize that I may be introducing you to some new people out there. So, first question, tell us a little bit about yourself. What makes you you?
I'm David Sequeira from India, and I'm a psychologist in the social and clinical psychologist. And I've been a psychologist since 1981.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Thank you so much for sharing that.
Thank you.
Now, when it comes to being an author, is that something that you've always wanted to do? Or did you find that this was one of the best ways to share your information and your wisdom with others?
It is a complicated question because I wrote my dissertation, How Machismo is Related to Alcoholism Among the Hispanics. And my dissertation was accepted by the committee, but I was prohibited from publishing my dissertation. And I had to sign an agreement that I will not publish for the next 20 years my dissertation. And after 20 years, I added the machismo part to my dissertation and published my book as Machismo and Marianismo Tango.
Oh, I like that. So, and by adding that additional, by adding the female part to the male information, it changed it. It became a totally different presentation for us to read. I love it, but also showing um, both sides of the coin. Everyone can read the book equally and find some bits and pieces that they can take away. I love that. Now, speaking of readers of the book, and I try to ask this of everyone that I have on the show, and that is, do you find that the book is appropriate for someone as young as high school, perhaps 15, 16, 17 years old, or do you think they need a little bit more life experience, more college age or older to be able to follow along?
I think people a little older will profit better from the book.
Yes, I can definitely understand that high school you're still kind of developing your personality and also absolutely thank you for that clarification. Now, you've kind of touched on it, but I do want to give you an opportunity to expound if you would like. And that is the title of the book. When you were determining how you would approach the book portion, we understand the dissertation portion, but the book portion, how did you go about determining, yes, this is the direction, as opposed to going in a totally different direction?
Yes. I was a missionary in Brazil, and I was posted in a small town known as Caçador in the mountains. And there, every man went to the red light district, and the wives and the family knew what was going on, but nothing was said. And I found it very, very strange. I did not have a word when I was there, but when I came to United States, I discovered the word machismo. And that made me excited about the whole theory about machismo. And later on, I added the second part of the of Marianismo.
Absolutely. We are finding that these types of conversations are coming up more and more often in our group conversations today. I think that the tone and tenor of society is starting to shift just a bit, and more open conversations are being had. So this book is definitely right on time. Now, when it comes to the proper way to read the book, I firmly believe that authors present it in the way that we as readers should consume it, page first to page last. However, we know that many people like to read the last page first, or they like to do what I refer to as reader's choice, open the book and start where they may. Is there a proper way to read your book? Should we start with page last, or is it read page first, or is it reader's choice?
No, it is starting with the page first, because at the end, I show you how I do therapy and how they can use my method for therapy. So it would be better to know the whole history of what is happening. Now, a lot of people know what is machismo or machistas, but very few people know what is Marianismo. Just like men want to be machistas, women think that they have to imitate the Virgin Mary. And her life was a life of suffering, abnegation, humility. And I tell them we had one, and that is enough. And you don't need to be machistas. You are equal to your husband. You're not, he's not the parent and you're not the child. Both of you are equal. And I teach them through how to communicate, not as a child, but as an adult.
Oh, I'm so glad that you give that instruction, that you allow people to have that permission to discover that side of themselves. And I have to admit, I did have a little chuckle there when you said we only needed one Mary. No need to try to recreate that. I have to agree there. Thank you for that point. I love it. I love it. Now, when you are getting feedback, and I know that you are getting such positive feedback from this book, are you finding that you really are almost freeing people from what they believed to be true, an old way of thinking or an old way of being, and they have found a new freedom by exploring your book and reading those pages?
Yes. For example, my patients will say, I'm not a machista. And I'll ask him, what type of truck are you driving? And then they know immediately that they are machistas because they want a huge truck making a lot of noise, you know. And so Marianistas, the women have difficulty there. But I show them that it is possible for them to change, knowing that they are not less than the man, they are equal to the man and have a right to live a comfortable life. I had a lady who came to me, and she came because she used to get mad at her children, get very angry at her daughters. And so when I took the history of the lady, I saw that she was in three marriages, and all the three marriages she suffered physically, emotionally, and sexually. She had PTSD. And when I treated the PTSD, she didn't need to get angry and she changed. No, now, most of them suffer from PTSD and they have never been diagnosed or treated for that. And once they are treated for them, they are liberated and they have a better life to lead, you know.
Oh my goodness. I know that in that moment of what you just said, someone just had an aha moment. The light bulb went off over their head and said, "Oh my goodness, is that what's going on with me. Perhaps that has spoken to a part of them. I find that you are so right that with our client bases, that so many times there are such deep-seated wounds that they are unaware of what they are experiencing, but they know that something isn't quite right, and how wonderful it is when you're able to help them unlock that answer, and you can just see them. Oh my goodness. Yes, I am free now of those thoughts and behaviors. I love that you have been able to do that. Well, Dr. David, it is time for us to take a very short break. But before we do, we realize that, of course, your book is available on Amazon and wherever books are sold. But if someone wants to reach out to you personally, is it best to email, visit your website? How should we get in contact with you?
With my phone number, because my email address is a little complicated. So my phone number is 424-477-4383.
Alrighty, everyone. Now you know where you can get a copy of the book and how to get in touch. We'll be back right after this.
Welcome to Daily Spark TV. Are you an author with a faith-based book? Be a guest. Serious about your product or service and want to try something new? Sponsor an episode. I see you're ready to get started. So visit drangela.chester.com. Thanks again for watching Daily Spark TV.
There's something I need to tell you. This relationship isn't working. It isn't good for me. I'm breaking up with you.
It's not me, it's you. I became dependent on you. And you were always there for me, even when I was at my worst. But I didn't realize the damage you were doing. You created a toxic environment. Not just for me, but others too. You were suffocating me.
We're just no longer compatible. Also, there's one more thing. I met someone else.
I'm respected in public. I'm making friends. I feel like I can breathe again.
That's how I deserve to be treated.
我们书店结束了。
तुम फिर से कभी नहीं मुझे दुख दोगे।
Ni siquiera te necesito.
Parce que j'ai une autre option.
And it's a healthy relationship.
You found a place of complete focus. You ordered your thoughts and mastered your mind. And all the while, you were on the train home. Audible. There's more to imagine when you listen.
And we are back. Thank you so much for joining me for Daily Spark TV. Now, Dr. David, you mentioned a very important thing there, and that is PTSD. In today's conversations, those that are dealing with PTSD have become a more widely accepted conversation. We realize that it is not just for our veterans returning home from war, but it could include those that have been in life-changing accidents or experiences. It can be cumulative. It could be because of where you grew up as a child, so on and so forth. I'm so glad this is part of the conversation today. Now, you touched on that, and that is an aha moment, I think, for most. Can you expound just a little bit more about that? Is it just the women? Is it just the men?
Anybody can have PTSD. My youngest patient was 3 years old, and she was sexually molested by her grandfather. And so, anybody can get PTSD. But the problem is they put this problem under the rug. I tell people there are 4 ways to deal with any problem: fight, flight, forget, or face. The first 3 don't work. And we have to face our problems as soon as possible. It is not very difficult in treating PTSD, but they have to be open and willing to work.
Oh, I love that answer. They have to be willing to work. That is so true. I find that many times people expect for their therapist, and I'm meaning all inclusive there, that their therapist in some way is going to wave a magic wand and they will be better just after one treatment. Like, thanks, doc, I appreciate you. Or there's going to be just one dose of medication, just a single pill that will make them better and they will be cured. And it is about the work that it took a while for all of that to surface, and it will take a while for all of that to be dealt with. I love that you are introducing people to that. And that poor little one, oh my goodness. At 3 years old, yes, I can only imagine as an adult how triggered she would be if she had not realized what was going on in her life. So many people don't understand why they're bothered by things because of the things that happened to them as children, and they have forgotten. We must face them. The 4 F's. I love that. Love that. Now, when it comes to deciding that you want to make this change, now, let me put my lovely disclaimer in here, Dr. David, and my viewers know what I'm going to say. If you want to know how the story ends, you've got to buy the book. Now, with that being said, for someone who is experiencing that aha moment and they're saying, I'm one of these people, right? Male or female, I'm one of these people. How can they start their journey to wellness? How do you address that in the book?
Okay. The first thing is, a lot of Hispanics think that only crazy people go to see a psychologist. That is absolutely wrong. People come for therapy to improve their lives, to start enjoying their lives. And you can enjoy their lives by cleaning the past. For me, life is like climbing a mountain. And if you're carrying a big load on your shoulders, that is all your past garbage, it is very difficult to climb the mountain. But once you have emptied the garbage, then you can easily climb up very fast. And it is not difficult to do that. All of us have our own garbage, and it is normal, and we have to be open to deal with that.
That is so true. Women have heard me say in webinars and speaking engagements, put the baggage down. We are not flying. We are not taking an international flight. We do not need all of those bags. Put those bags down. Leave them where they are. Learn learn to travel with an overnight bag, right? And how that frees us. And in making that comparison, so many women are able to understand. And surprisingly enough, their husbands kind of get it as well, because it's like, thank you, Dr. Angela. When we go on a trip, my wife takes 5 bags for a 2-day trip. We don't need all of that. So when we're looking at our emotional state as well and how we are dealing with our lives, understanding that we don't need all of that baggage. I love that, to go up the mountain. That is a great analogy there as well. Now, for someone who is on the other side, they have given themselves finally the permission to face what has happened, and they are walking in their new lifestyle. They are freed from all of that baggage. They are making it up the mountain. I love that. How do we maintain this new state of being, this new state of mind? The same way when we are trying to lose weight, we change the way we eat, we exercise. What is the maintenance that we can do?
Okay, the person is living with a machista, and the machista doesn't want to change. He's quite happy in the way he lives. And so, but if the woman gives up her Marianista traits and becomes an adult, he will not know how to deal with her. I had a man, and he got mad at me because his wife is no longer a servant of his, waiting for him to come home and prepare his dinner at 1 o'clock in the morning, because I told her she should go to bed at 10 o'clock. So he was mad at me and came to fight with me. And then he became my patient, and both of them lived a happy life.
Oh my goodness. I can only imagine that conversation. Doctor, you broke my wife, and just that wasn't what he thought he wanted. But then in realizing that it really wasn't what he wanted or even what he needed, and how he can live in this new freedom. I love those stories, because it really and truly does show us that so many times people are operating from learned behaviors. Many times it is, well, that's how my dad was. That's how my mom was. And that's what I know. That's what I'm comfortable with. I'm going to adopt that into my personality, and that's how I'm going to live my life. And then they get to a point where they realize, I don't want to be that person anymore. And thank goodness for not only the therapists around the world, but books such as yours, Dr. David, that are helping people discover that they don't have to be in that confinement anymore.
If you
Now,
don't learn from history, history will repeat itself. So you have to go back and deal with what you didn't like, what your parents did. And only then you will not do that in your own life. Otherwise, people tell me I'll never be like that, but eventually you'll become like that if you don't deal with it.
that is absolutely so true. And the conversations are just amazing, because the person, many times they come to see us, I don't want to do this anymore, but I don't know how to change. And then you help them discover the options, and the fighting that goes on, the internal dialogue that they have of, you don't want to do that. Yes, you do. I don't want to do that. Yes, you do. It is so difficult for so many clients to really just walk in the new path. But in explaining to people, in order to pick up something new, we have to put down the old. Open your hand, release that old. It's okay. It's okay to actually be in that moment of, I'm doing something new. I'm so glad that you use that analogy of going up the mountain. I hope anyone that is going through this determination right now, that they will kind of sit down with this. watch this again and really discover that it is okay to put it down so that they can go up the mountain. Dr. David, I have enjoyed my conversation with you today. I think that you have opened a lane for someone to have their aha moment today, and your book, I know, is going to change so many lives. Thank you so much for coming on and sharing it with us here today. Again, we know that the book is available on Amazon or wherever books are sold. And if someone wants to get in contact with you, can you share that number with us again, Dr. David?
Yes, it is 424-477-4383.
Alrighty. Thank you again for coming on and sharing your wisdom with our viewers.
It was my pleasure.
And viewers, thank you for spending some time with us here today as well. I hope we have once again enlightened, inspired, and empowered you. As always, may the Lord continue to shine his face upon you. May you receive his grace and his mercy in all that you do. Until next time, everyone, remember that you are blessed in the Lord. Have a great day, everyone. Bye-bye.
Hi, do you have something to share? Be a guest. Want to sponsor an episode? Visit drangela.chester.com. Thanks again for watching Daily Spark TV.
Feeling stuck? Looking for a spark? Meet your new favorite read, Living in Divine Incandescence. This book is your go-to guide for finding peace, purpose, and a whole lot of light in your life. Living in Divine Incandescence is packed with gentle wisdom and profound insights. It's perfect for anyone at any stage of life looking to nurture their inner light and live with more joy and compassion. Imagine waking up excited to tackle the day, knowing you're walking a path of grace and mindfulness. That's what Living in Divine Incandescence offers: practical tips, inspiring stories, and a fresh perspective to help you shine. Whether you're 18 or 80, Living in Divine Incandescence is your companion on the journey to a brighter, more fulfilling life. It's time to embrace the light within and let it transform your world. Get your copy of Living in Divine Incandescence today and start living your brightest life in God's grace. Available on Amazon, Lulu, and wherever books are sold.